Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. More Newcastle transfer news. With just under 1 month left to go now. I said it yesterday, I'm expecting at this point to be almost daily uploads on Newcastle's transfer news due to how active the club is in the market. They need to bring more players in. They are trying to bring more players in, and therefore there's just more videos to be made. That's the best way of putting it. But anyway guys, welcome back to the channel as always. If you're new around here, make sure you get down there, hit that subscribe button so whenever the Newcastle United news comes out, you won't miss an upload on the channel. And as well as that, if you can also get down there, smash the like button. And finally, question of the day, which player would you rather have at Newcastle, with James Maddison or Lucas Paqueta? I've seen a lot of fans arguing over which player they want, so that's my question for you guys. Which player would you rather see playing black and white? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section about that. And anyway guys, without further ado, let's get into all of the news now. First off, a bit off topic, but I just want to say well done to Newcastle fans over the weekend against Atlanta on Athletic Bilbao, because it's been announced by the food bank today that over £10,000 has been raised, which will of course go into people that need to eat and drink. It's that simple. So yeah, huge congratulations there. The generosity showed in the city is just amazing. So £5,000 donated by Newcastle fans. And Jamie Rubin promised again this season that he would double the amount, so over £10,000 has been raised, which is, wow, that's a lot of money, so well done. And personally for me, I know people firsthand who had to use the food bank around about Christmas time, and it's just horrible that this has to happen in the UK. This fan base is unmatched, and I quickly thought I would address that now, because I think that's brilliant news for everyone to hear. I just want to warn fans as well, because I've seen a lot of this on social media today, where it's just an absolute frenzy for Newcastle transfers by journalists and articles out there. I'm seeing so many different articles on literally hundreds of players that Newcastle are trying to sign, when it's just not true at all. I'm only going to focus this video on James Maddison and Maxwell Cornet, because there are legitimate links towards those two players. And there's been back into those links as well. It's not just one article out there. There's multiple articles talk about an individual player, which is when I kind of mention them personally. So yeah, just take everything with a pinch of salt, guys. I'm not going to tell you which ones to believe, which ones not to believe, but until I see more articles talk about these other players out there, I'm not going to mention this video. It's just those two I'm going to mention for now. So yeah, there's a heads up. We'll start off with the transfer news on Maxwell Cornet, because he's the less complicated one of the two. There's been a little bit of new news about him, but James Maddison, there's a lot to talk about him. So we get Maxwell Cornet out of the way first. So we already know there's a £17.5 million release clause in his contract. He has scored 9 goals in 26 matches for Burnley last season, their failed attempt to stay in the Premier League. As I said before, that would be Newcastle's top goal scorer last season, so it's nothing to joke around with. He managed to score 9 goals in a team that doesn't tend to score goals. That was Burnley's biggest problem last season. They struggled in the attacking end to find the back of the net. So it's a bit of a no-brainer for me. I do think he's worth £17 million, but due to Burnley's situation where the player wants to leave, the team has nothing to keep a hold of the player has no reason to stay at Burnley. They were in a position where Newcastle know how desperate Burnley are to get rid of him, so they are offering less money to try and get him in on a cheaper deal. But Newcastle aren't the only team that's trying to sign him, as it's been reported today that West Ham also want to sign the player, but they also don't want to play the release clause like Newcastle, so they actually want him in on a loan deal, which is smart for Burnley, because they can get him out on a loan deal, and if they get promoted again, then chances are you might want to play for Burnley again. So I think a loan deal is probably smarter for Burnley than selling him for a fee they don't want to sell him for. And Everton's also reportedly going in for him, but I don't really see Everton getting him, to be honest. It's just my personal opinion. So if Newcastle want him now, they've got to act now. It's the best way of putting it. They've got to go in for a loan deal. They've got to convince Burnley to sell him for less, or they've got to activate his release clause and just buy him out for £17 million. So we'll see what the club does. I think he's a good player, but he's someone that can play multiple positions. And I think Newcastle's sort of mindset now is, if players get injured, you've got someone like Cornet that can fill in multiple positions. So for me, it's a good deal. I think the club will continue to try and get him in. But whether we get him in or not is another question, though. On to James Maddison now, the talk of the tune, the main man at this current time, and somebody that would be a huge signing for the club if they can pull it off. So what's happened since? A lot has happened with him since I made that video. Well, actually, when I was uploading the video yesterday, I said in the video that Newcastle's second bid was around about the £45 million mark, but Sky Sports actually corrected it at first and said it was about a £50 million mark. But today, Keith Downey came out and said it's conflicting reports and he believes it's about £40 million. So the actual price tag of what Newcastle's put in, we don't really know. There's a lot of different reports coming out of how much Newcastle are bidding. But the point is, though, his second bid is true. It has been confirmed. Newcastle went back in the second time now to try and get James Maddison. But a lot of different reports are coming out today claiming that it's going to be rejected. Now, it hasn't actually been officially rejected yet. I think a problem at the minute is that a lot of journalists seem to be trying to beat each other on almost like a race to try and get this information out first. I said yesterday I do believe it's going to get rejected, and I think a lot of journalists are just using logic here. I can't see Leicester selling him for between 40 to 50 million pounds. I said yesterday I believe it's between the 50 to 60 million pound mark. So I think Newcastle are just a margin off. It depends how Newcastle will structure the deal as well, because Craig Hope makes a good point here, and he's saying that Newcastle would need to spend about £50 million up front to sign him. And it's unlikely because of financial fair play. Now, I do believe Newcastle will be trying to get him in instalments. It's kind of the same situation with Burnley for Cornet. Newcastle don't want to pay all of the money up front. They want to pay it over multiple seasons so it benefits them and they can make more signs in the current time. I can understand Newcastle's reason for that and it makes sense, but at the same time Leicester want the money up front so they can buy players now. So it's a bit of a contrast between the two teams that it's just not gelling together. Newcastle want to pay on a yearly basis, Leicester want the money up front. So already there we've got a bit of a problem with the two teams. On top of that, Craig Hope also mentioned that Leicester City could be interested in signing Martin Dubravka. They've just lost Kasper Schmeichel to a French team, and as a result, Martin Dubravka could be a player that they're interested in, due to the fact that, in my opinion, now he is the number 2 at Newcastle with Nick Pope's appointment. What would you guys personally do in this situation? Would you actually get rid of Martin Dubravka if it meant that we could get James Maddison in for the price that we want? Now, I feel like personally Eddie Howe has made sure Nick Pope has came in because he wants people fighting in every single position for their spot. He wants competition there, and despite the fact that I personally believe Martin Dubravka is the number 2, he has the illusion there where everyone can be number 1 if they play well and if they train hard enough in their, of course, in the training session. So we'll see what happens to this one, but I don't think the club would have Cardona as the number 2. They'll have to bring another goalkeeper in if they were going to try and pull that one off. In my personal opinion, at this moment in time when I'm recording this video, this deal is very complicated. Leicester want all the money up front, whereas Newcastle want to pay it in instalments. So there's a huge problem there that both the teams need to resolve. And I just don't know if they're going to resolve that because it's quite a big obstacle they need to overcome. I don't think Newcastle pay money up front, so it's on Leicester's end. Do they somehow change their mind and go, actually, we'll accept it on instalments, we'll take some of the money now and we'll have the money over a few seasons? It's a tough one. And I've seen some Newcastle fans make a very decent point that James Maddison only has 2 years left in his contract, so the 60 million evaluation at Leicester 1 isn't actually a fair evaluation because he's going to leave anyway in 2 years' time unless he accepts a new contract. So I don't know. This one at this moment in time is very complicated. Newcastle are clearly trying to bring the player in. And I've seen a lot of Newcastle fans again frustrated, again unhappy with how deals are advancing. But I have to say, patience is a virtue, just as Murdad said. We managed to get Botman in because we were patient with him. It took us 2 transfer windows and it took us multiple bidding wars with AC Milan. But we got the player we wanted in because we were smart. We didn't overpay. Leo, they moved the goalpost, so we didn't fall for it. We got the deal that we wanted for Botman and he became Newcastle's player. We can and we will do that again with the players we want if we play it smart. If we panic by now, I've said it time and time again, if we panic by now, then our teams will latch onto it and they will just make a muggery out of us. They will just mug us off big time. They'll come in and be like, oh, that's Newcastle, they got loads of money. There we are, extra £10 million for them. This Newcastle tax, they could say. If Newcastle panic now, we'll run out of money, we'll not be able to make any more signings. And that's it, we'll be stuck with James Maddison, which is a fantastic, brilliant player. But we still haven't addressed the fact that we need a striker. We need somebody that can play on the wing. So yeah, it's just a matter of time what Newcastle does. But we shouldn't be worried by this. Leicester, it was expected they're going to reject the deal. Nothing has really changed in this deal. It's not like Leicester went, no, we're not selling him, goodbye Newcastle. That's not happened at all. He's going to reject the deal that I expected us to be rejected anyway, because I think the money is just too low for him. So we'll see what happens to this one. I don't think this is a bad thing at all. I think it's just what Newcastle fans and fans as a whole have expected with this deal. We'll just see what the club does next. Does Newcastle give up on this deal and go, you know what, we're going to go try and get somebody else in now? Or does Newcastle go back in for him for a third bid and make this one count? I don't know. But anyway, though, it's nothing to be worried about. I still think this deal could be on the cards. It's just what Newcastle personally does after the rejection. But anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments section. As I said before, please be patient with the owners. I don't want to speak in their behalf, obviously, but I've seen a lot of Newcastle fans being quite anxious and frustrated on social media. We're not in a bad situation at all. This is still good for Newcastle. Nothing has changed. It's just a rejection that I think was expected anyway. So yeah, Newcastle's £50 million bid is reported to be rejected and is expected to be rejected. So what would the club do next? I am not too sure. But anyway, though, guys, thank you all for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below. I apologise in this video if you don't feel like much has happened, but a lot has happened since that last video, which is why I came out with another one. And yeah, it's a bit of confusion going on at the minute, so I'll try my best to explain it. But yeah, no concerns at all for me at all. Yes, it's not the result we've hoped for, but nothing really bad has happened. Yeah, it's just been being rejected. Like, that was expected anyway, so yeah, no problems for me whatsoever. It's just what Newcastle does next, which will be the final say, shall we say. But anyway, guys, take care, and I'll see you all tomorrow.